You are listening to the Married Gamers Podcast with your hosts, Chris and Kelly. Join us this week as we talk about Nintendo and some recent controversy about a forthcoming 3DS game. All this and more on the Married Gamers Podcast.
Every night since the zombies at Christmas, I've been hung up on a dream where we get married in Memphis by the good Reverend Green. You in that hat, in a black dress, yeah, you know the one I mean. Yeah, let's get married in Memphis, house next Halloween. 'Cause I'm just as scared as you, probably more. Believe it is true, unless you got something better to do. And I bet that you
Welcome and thank you for listening to the Married Gamers Podcast, episode 332, recorded on May 11th, 2014. Happy post-Mother's Day, since we're recording on Mother's Day, and you'll be listening to it post-Mother's Day. I hope all those mothers out there had a wonderful day. Hope your kids left you alone for the day. Didn't bring you salty eggs for breakfast.
Maybe they got off the Skylanders and let the mothers, all the mothers out there play it finally.
It's interesting looking at Facebook and other social medias. There's the fathers who are like, got the kids out of the house so mom could have a little bit of time alone. And then you see the other ones who moms are like, had breakfast in bed. And I remember, I don't know about you, honey, but I remember one time wanting to make breakfast for my mom, getting up really early with my sister, and I'm like, I could make scrambled eggs. I was probably 7, 8 years old at the time. I can make scrambled eggs. There's gotta be salt added to them and pepper. You can't really over pepper eggs too bad. Well, I guess you could. I over salted the eggs. And my mom, very graciously, I think, ate maybe a bite and was like, this orange juice is delicious, girls. Didn't say anything else about the eggs, though. So, yeah.
Well, I alluded to Skylanders earlier, so the opening question for today is, if you got to create your own Skylanders character, what would it be?
Well, mine would be called the Little Screamer, and it would be a skeleton-esque like character, and the character would scream to make all the bad guys fall down. So, what about you, honey?
For me, I would the Big Bopper. I know there's
we go around singing "Who with the bop and the bop shabop shabop." Who with? What do you do?
No, my Big Bopper would be like this pelican that could fly, but uses its beak to also like bam, come down on the enemies and whatnot, and it can also do like a brush attack with its beak as well.
I thought like it would come around and like scoop people up with its pelican.
Ooh, that could be
with his beak. I remember this one time when I was at the San Diego Zoo, and this kid stuck his head in the pelican exhibit, and the pelican snapped his head on the kid's head. It was really funny. But the pelican, like, they had to like, the zookeepers had to like pry it open because the pouch opens up.
Okay.
And that's where his head was stuck at. His head was quite smelly after that. It was kind of funny. Probably not for the child, but anyways.
So, we can be found in a few places. You can find us at our homepage at themarriedgamers.net. We have, we're all over social media. You can find us on Twitter at Married Gamers. I'm at Lefty Brown, and Kelly's at Mrs. Lefty Brown. At Facebook, it's /The Married Gamers, and on Google Plus, it is google.com /plus The Married Gamers Net.
Something like that. Search for us on Google Plus.
The Married Gamers Net.
It's we've become quite prolific there just recently.
Yes, and of course on Pinterest, Pinterest.com /Married Gamers.
Yes.
So, I should mention Twitch. When I jump on and play video games, I like to start streaming on Twitch, and our Twitch channel is Official Married Gamers. Check us out there, and pretty soon we're going to start having a regular feed embeddable on our home site, themarriedgamers.net. So,
and when you hear Lefty say broadcasting, you know that's the code word for me to walk through the ring.
yeah, half naked, yeah.
Yeah.
Extra Life is when's it happening? It's happening in November, right?
October. I think it's October 18th. I will double check for you right now as you're talking about our page.
Okay. So we are trying to assemble a big following, people who want to participate for Extra Life. 24 hours of gaming. Think of it as a gaming marathon. People pay you per the hour, or they can just make donations, based on whatever. Let's have fun of it. Let's, when you sign up, you can choose the Children's Miracle Network hospital that's closest to you. Kelly and I will be playing for, Children's Hospital Central California. And, we're very enthusiastic about this year, and we want to raise a lot of money for our respective, children's hospitals, part of the Children's Miracle Network. And if you want to join Team TMG, just point your browser to bit.ly/team TMG 2014. Once again, that's /team TMG 2014. Come join and be a part. I think we are planning some fun things to do with people who sign up and be a part of our team, including giveaways and contests and stuff for people who raise money for their local Children's Miracle Network as part of Team TMG.
I was wrong with the date. It's October 25th this year.
October 25th.
I wasn't off too far.
Okay.
And I want to throw out a challenge this year to see if people will donate on a monthly basis. You can donate, think about it, like $5 a month. You wouldn't really miss a cup of Starbucks coffee, just one cup of coffee a month. Donate $5 between now and October. That's May, June, July, August, September, October. That's actually $30.
Yeah.
If I came to you in October begging for $30, you might look at me and say, I don't have $30 right now. But $5 a month between now and October, you might not even notice it.
Okay. And we'll be talking more about how you can give and whatnot as we come closer to the event. But right now, we really want to get on the ground running with a great team to participate this year.
Yes.
We'd like to thank our sponsor, Tioga Sequoia. You can catch them on the internet at tioga-sequoia.com. Makers of fine craft brew right here in the heart of the Central Valley here in Fresno. We have been loving the beer for quite a bit and very happy to have them supply us with some of their excellent brew each and every month. And we end up buying a lot on our own too, because we get hooked on some of the greatest beer here in California. All right, so mail. We've been. Don't you dare.
Hey, I get to.
We've been away for a while. We're trying to get back on a regular schedule. And
we've had some medical issues.
So we're a little rusty at this. So, we have some mail.
Mailbag.
And, as we're starting to do, if people send us mail each week, we have like games and swag and stuff like that. We're going to give some of that stuff away. And so, for this round, we are giving away a copy of Splinter Cell for the Xbox 360, whatever the latest one is. I have it somewhere.
It in front of me.
But, so the winner of that one, and, we out of a random.org drawing is our first, is it?
That's our second one.
Oh, it's our second, person who sent us the question. So we're going to go with, I'll read the second one. Why don't you read the first one?
So our first one comes to us from Aaron, and he writes, so I picked up an Xbox One for $450 with Titanfall and 13 months of Xbox Live Gold. He actually wrote Love Gold. What else does Microsoft have to do to catch up to the PS4 numbers that have sold so far?
Right. Well, I've said this over on my other show that I'm a part of,
other one?
Gamer Husbands Radio. Both consoles are selling quite well.
They are.
Xbox One is selling well. I forget the last round they announced, but they're doing well. I mean, they've already have, well, the the PS4 has already surpassed the Wii U, and the Wii U came out, over a year ago, a year and some odd months ago. I think the Xbox One is approaching that in not too long, but they do lag behind the PS4. Although they've gone on record saying that they're happy with what they're selling. It's outselling the Xbox 360 when it first came out. Now, you have to remember, Xbox 360 didn't catch on until like mid of its life cycle. And that's when, and especially in the past year and a half ago, they really started beating the PS3, at least in North America, beating the PS3 and beating the Wii. And of course everyone was losing the 3DS because that really took off. But that said, so if we're going to play this who's selling more thing as a proof of like which console is better,
or what they have to do to get more out there, or whatever.
Right. Obviously, I would say, and please interject with what your thoughts are, Kelly.
Right. I will.
I think 450 is an excellent starting point. I'm seeing more and more retailers drop down that price, and I think that's a price that we may see a cut to. Obviously, the golden price is $399, with the same price as the PS4. I don't think we'll get there. They might do added value like bundling a game and bundling Xbox Live Gold. I think that might be good alternatives. But basically, what it's going to come down to is games and services. They need to get games that you cannot resist and services that you can't get anywhere else.
Well, and one other thing that I think that Xbox can do that PS4 is up and coming to doing that I only heard of because you happened to mention it when we were doing our yard sale and you were getting ready to sell your PS3, is they're bringing up PS3 games so that you can play them on your PS4.
Yeah.
And I think that if Xbox is smart, they'll bring up some of the older Xbox 360 games to the Xbox One. And I don't know if that's
they haven't even mentioned that as a rumor.
No, I know, but if they're smart, that's something that they would do because people will then get rid of their 360s and not go back and forth between Xbox 360 and Xbox Ones, and it'll bring those hesitant Xbox 360 gamers into the Xbox One, because there's a lot of people who are going, why am I going to get rid of my 360 when there are games that are coming out for both 360 and Xbox One, and I can continue to play my Call of Duty Ghosts, because I can't play that on my Xbox One.
Right. I haven't heard Microsoft say one word about maybe doing backwards compatibility. It's much in the same way as this whole PlayStation, I forget what they call it, but it's basically their Gaikai, where they'll streaming the games.
Right.
And you can play it that way. Obviously with the cloud servers and stuff, there might be that way. And honestly, at the end of the day, I don't think there's going to be a great majority of people who are going to go and play a lot of PS3, PS2, PS1 games via this service. There are obviously a lot of people listening to podcasts. They're heavily invested into a history of video games.
Right.
And so they're more apt to, but I think the grand majority, they're looking forward. They want to play the next Killzone, or in case of the Xbox, they want to play the next Halo or all these other games. But because PS4 is jumping in, I think Microsoft might jump in as well. Again, this is just me conjecturing.
Right.
Conjecturing. That being said, again, it comes back to games and services. I like my PS4 quite a bit. It's a great console. In fact, I've been playing it quite a bit recently, with, Zen Pinball 2, and, I've been playing, MLB, the 14, the show. which looks fantastic on the PS4. And so I've been playing a lot of my PS4. That said, I like what Microsoft has as for terms of first party and exclusive games coming to it.
Right.
You know, at the end of the day, I'd much rather play a Halo than a Killzone. That's just me.
That's just your style.
I'm not saying one is better than the other. You know, so this is just personal preference there. So, you know, people out there have a problem with that. marriedgamers@outlook.com, right?
Yes. Sorry, I had to think about that for a second.
You can send us mail there. But other games and services. So you got cool games coming to the Xbox. Titanfall, you know, got a lot of people to buy it when it first released. Some people that I know have jumped into an Xbox One just because of Titanfall. And there's more games on the horizon. And I think over time, when you start seeing the game makers who are bringing games to the Xbox One, and the quality of those games, I think over time that's going to turn some heads. But you know, Sony's not going to give up the fight. You know, they got a full head of steam, and they're gonna try to do their very best to widen the gap, so to speak.
Right.
And then services. You know, on the 360, when we watch the UFC fight, it's on the 360.
Right.
Because it's an experience that I don't get on DirecTV. You know, being able to vote on the matches, that's fun. You and I debating who's going to win a match and stuff, and voting on those matches. That's a level of engagement that I don't get anywhere else. More services that gives me that, you know, whether it's movies that have smart glass. You know, I'm waiting to sit down with American Hustle that we own on Xbox Video, which has smart glass interactivity.
Right.
And I want to, you know, that's something I'll do. I'll sit down with my Surface and start up smart glass and watch the movie and see how that plays out for me. And then who knows? You know, they got obviously Xbox Music and other services and stuff like that. But down the road, they need to build upon that. So we have so we know that they're bringing television. You know, Microsoft Studios, their own television thing. You know, we all heard about the documentary stuff, including the documentary on E.T., cartridges buried out in the desert. There's the Every Street United, which I'm really looking forward to, which is telling a bunch of soccer stories on the lead up to the World Cup. And then, you know, of course, the big heavy in the room is Halo, which it will be coming sometime in the near future. A live television series, which, and they've said that there's going to be some sort of interactivity. I've been hearing all kinds of stuff to like, things like Showtime's going to get Halo, which makes me a bit fearful because, you know, if you want to push your users toward an Xbox One, make that the only place they can get it. But, so, you know, they need to expand some of their services and make services, also bring some of the services into parity. You know, case in point, people who have listened to our show for years and years know how often I have talked about the trying and waiting for Microsoft to finally say, hey, why are we making people buy gold in order to play Netflix when, you know, you can play it for free on the other consoles and on our own tablets and on our now that Microsoft owns Nokia, on our own phones, and you know,
yeah.
You know, why is the Xbox and 360 and the Xbox One the only environments in which you actually have to pay to be able to play this service? You know,
Right. Yeah.
So there needs to be some of that parity as well, and then build on the other highlights. You know, a fantastic multiplayer experience. PS4 has done a lot of wonders to try to catch up to the Xbox multiplayer experience, and you know.
Do you feel like it's still lacking though?
Oh, for the Xbox One?
No, the PS4.
It's a little bit clunky, so to speak. isn't quite as seamless as I had hoped, but I'm confident that over time, it's going to get better.
Okay.
The sound, it sounds all right. It's become easier to join games and join parties and stuff like that.
Right.
But it's still a little bit clunky.
Still has much to be
But
decided.
the Xbox One multiplayer experience, even though it has much improved, still has some ways to go to match that level of awesomeness that the multiplayer experience was on the Xbox 360.
I agree with that too.
So, but they're working on it, and fortunately, this is software stuff, it seems like, so both Sony and Microsoft, can make their products, even better, so.
Do you think it's stuff that can be upgraded just through updates?
Yeah, I think a lot of that will be coming in updates. Alright, so, anything else, Kelly?
Nothing on that question.
All right, so let's go to this week's winner. He writes, I should say Daniel. Congratulations, Daniel. I'll have to double check to see if you included your address. If not, I will get in touch with you, so I can mail out a copy of Splinter Cell to you, for the Xbox 360. Okay, and he writes, nothing would bring my heart more joy other than hearing Miss Lefty sing a song.
Mailbag.
Yes. Kelly, are you not going to play Trials anymore? Trial Fusion, right?
Yeah.
That game is bigger than it's been given its due. I'm not quite following.
I think bigger than most people think it is.
Okay. I don't have it, but I played Trials and Trials Evo. I am a married gamer with 4 kids. Not recommended, he says. So money is tight. You should try and build a map in the game and speak on that. In my Trials experience, I've built over 25 maps. I'm a huge Forge guy, he writes. Thanks a lot, you two. And he then writes to me, Lefty, thanks for making GHR, Gamer Husbands Radio, more snazzy and less about the weather.
Were they talking more about the weather?
Well, they've had a long tradition of Sam talking about his shed he hasn't finished, or about his allergies and whatnot.
Is his wife making him live in the shed? Is that why it's not complete yet?
I love Sam, and I love the other people on Gamer Husbands, and I'm having a blast being able to spend an hour or two or more,
or 3
or more, with those guys.
You
each
know,
and every
it's
week.
been a long show when I go to bed before it's over.
Yeah. All right. So to his question, Callie,
Yes.
are you going to play some more Trials Fusion?
I am. I need to play more. I've been trying to play catch up on TV lately, which I'm caught up.
Okay.
For the most part. Well, no. Well, yeah. We'll talk about that.
Okay. So you need to create a map so other people can play it.
Do you guys really want to play a map?
I want to see. I want to see a map that you create.
Oh, God.
I want to see how a map you create plays like.
I don't know if you want to.
So that's your mission. Okay.
Create a
so
map.
next week, well, you'll tell people about the map. I'll go play it after you share it, and hopefully we can get some of our listeners to play it as well, and maybe they can email us about their experience.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Well, congratulations, Daniel. I should say that we are still doing the giveaways. If you send us an email, be sure to include your address, and each week we'll randomly select someone to win a piece of swag. So next week our swag is going to be an Xbox One game. This is coming from Ubisoft, and it's a Kinect game called Fighter Within. So it's a fighting game with the Kinect.
Yay, fighting game.
So we are giving that away. We are giving that away. So if you want to participate, be sure to include your address, and send us a piece of mail at marriedgamers@outlook.com.
Yes. Okay, so it is our time to get into the Week in Geek. It's been a couple of weeks, so it's the Weeks in Geek. I was gonna say geeks, but wait, yeah, we're both geeks.
So what have you been doing, huh?
So I downloaded this new game on my phone, and I've just put my phone on charger, so I don't remember what it's called. I think it's connected with Wordament, but it's it's a timed tournament.
Yes, I've been playing that too, and it is a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. It can also be very challenging, and you can make friendemies on there. Like you can tap their name and make some friendemies, but sometimes they're mean. They can send you little messages.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't tried that.
And, well, I didn't know they could. So I, clicked a couple people because I was like, well, let's see what this friend to me thing does. Well, they only know your gamer tag, thankfully. But, so I clicked a couple people that were in the U.S., I was like, yeah, okay. And they sent me a message, and one said, you're not better than me. And I was like, okay, whatever. So what? I don't care. And then another one called me a bitch. And I was like, that was nice. I'm not it's not like I called you a name. But I've gotten 5 achievements already.
Nice.
And you get one achievement. I don't know if you know this. If you move a tile after you already got a point for that tile. So let's say you made the word cat and you move the C. So it stays the word at, and you move the C to make climb. You get an achievement for moving it and making it another word. Okay. So, I've been playing that. I've been playing Candy Crush.
Candy Crush?
Maybe. It's a great time waster when you're sitting on the toilet.
Okay.
Well, because you can only play 5 rounds. And when you're stuck in a level and you just need to hopefully finish an area.
Oh, jeez.
It makes you get off the pot after a while.
All right. What else?
So, anyways, yeah. I haven't played any Xbox games.
Well, geez, woman.
Well,
this is the gaming podcast. We don't want to hear about what TLC show you're watching.
I don't watch any TLC shows. Well, there's only a couple, but I don't talk about those because you make fun of me. Well, there's one that I've been watching. You know me in medical shows. So there's this new show that they have on there, and I think it's just a quick. It looks like it's just going to be a quick show called OMG EMT. And so it's like the best of the worst EMT calls. And you know me in medical shows, I'll watch a medical show. So I've watched 2 episodes of that, it's just entertaining to see the best of the worst. And there was this one EMT call. They thought that, an elderly check-in. Of elderly patient, and they went in, they thought he was dead, and so the fire department went in and everything like that, and his blood pressure had gone really low, and ended up with their fire department head, captain, knocking himself out because he got so scared, and so yeah, that was really funny. Anyways.
Staged. Bet you was staged.
I don't know, it wasn't like that, it's not like it's real life, they're taking film of it, they're recreating them.
So you don't play video games anymore.
Shut up. I've been really busy.
There's always time for trials. Trials, you sit down, play a few minutes of.
Hi, honey. So you know how you have 100% of your 100%. You can fill it up to 100% on your.
On my
that
what?
You have 100%. It should be empty to 100% on your DVR.
Right.
I had down to where I only had 2% left. So
you're just taping everything, aren't you?
No.
All the TV.
No, I have the whole entire season of Walking Dead to watch still.
Okay.
I have the entire.
By the time you're gonna get around to it, it's gonna be on Netflix.
Probably. I have the entire season of Once Upon a Time to watch.
Yeah, you can delete that.
No, I like that show.
Once again, that's marriedgamers@outlook.com.
And then there's this new show that started up. There's I've watched 3 episodes of it called Believe on NBC. And it's about a girl who has telekinesis powers.
Right.
And
it's like the Fox show Touch that they canceled. That they'll probably cancel Believe as well.
I don't know.
They canceled Community, which
I saw that. So it's an interesting premise. Did you see what CW is bringing in?
What?
Flash.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That they're bringing on the show, yep. Flash. Not the Flash. Flash. I thought that was interesting. And then, hang on. Oh, and then, I've been watching, I don't know how Netflix, deciphers shows that you're interested in watching, but on my feed it said women shows with strong female leads. And so I was looking to see what shows would be of interest to me. And there was this, shut up. And there was this, what are you laughing at me for?
I remember when I used to do a video game podcast with my wife.
You know what? No.
Now it's what she's been watching on TV.
Fuck you.
Oh, jeez.
And so, it's a show called Emily Owens, MD, that went one season.
Oh, can't miss that.
Shut up. I like medical shows. That went on one season on the CW that I'd never heard of. So, yeah, I'm watching that.
And all that time could have been spent playing video games.
No, that was when I was in bed.
You have time to watch.
You know what? I was sick.
You still haven't played Rise, and you were like, oh, I can't wait to play Rise.
I have played about an hour of Rise.
Okay, well, you need several more hours to play into.
Yes, and I've played about an hour of Trials.
Okay.
Hey, wait, I did play some Titanfall with you, remember? But you kept kicking me out of your room.
What?
There's no space for you.
Oh, no, you're making things up.
I went to go join your party, and
we all remember
there's no space.
Couldn't find your Titan. We remember that story.
Yeah, but remember, like, you would send me an invite, and then all of a sudden I got kicked out because, there's no space.
All right, so you haven't played any games.
Fuck you.
And you watched way too much TV.
Yes.
All right.
Cooking shows. What about you?
All right, so I'll get my TV stuff out of the way first.
Since you watched a lot of TV, too.
Game of Thrones with you.
Yes, we have been watching Game of Thrones. And it's
Amazing
good.
Race with you.
Amazing Race is good, too. We're almost done with Amazing Race. We've got maybe 2 more episodes? Because they're down to 4.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm still watching Star Wars The Clone Wars. Celebrated May the 4th be with you, watching Star Wars Clone Wars. I think I am up to season 3 now, and enjoying that. Games. Let's talk about games. I finished Skylanders Swap Force. I finished it today. I enjoyed it. It's helpful when you have a lot of figures. And you play that game like, who do I want to level up? And I did a lot of leveling up of certain characters over other characters. And all in all, it was fun. It wasn't as fun as some of the other Skylanders games. But hey, it kept my interest enough to make it to the end. So there's that. This one was done by Vicarious Visions and not Toys for Bob. So it'll be interesting to see what the next one, who's doing the next one and whatnot. Especially as things like Disney Infinity 2.0 Marvel Superheroes, which was announced recently, looks fantastic, and is really going to give Skylanders a run for its money under what makes it underneath the Christmas tree this year. So other than that, a lot of Titanfall.
You've been doing a lot of Titanfall.
Mm-hmm. PS4. After waiting forever to finally be available on the server or on the service, I was finally able to download and start playing MLB 14, the show. I'm obviously playing as one of the best teams in Major League Baseball, the San Francisco Giants. Once again, that's marriedgamers at outlook.com. And so far, I'm really enjoying it. Although I did find like knowing how to do things, and I should be on the record here. When it comes to sports games, I play on the easiest settings, for FIFA 14, I'm playing with the 2-stick configuration, or the 2-button. I got the kick and the other one, pass. And so I play it on as easy as I can on MLB 14, the show. But still going through deciding, okay, I want to play as a franchise. I want to play as, create my own character. It's still a little unfamiliar for me. So I'm trying to learn how to do these things. And, but It's fun. It looks great. You can really tell like they varied up like the crowd shots, looking like that. It's still a little bit weird not seeing, real life ads in there and stuff like that. But overall, this is it's a really good baseball game. So, once again, Sony showing that, they are the system to go to if you want to play a really good baseball game. So, bravo to them. And I am having a lot of fun playing it. I've been playing a little bit the new Star Wars, tables on Zen Pinball 2. And, those are really good. They're much harder than some of the other tables available in the series, but they look fantastic, wonderful. I believe one is Empire Strikes Back, and the other two is escaping me at the moment. But last but not least, so at PAX East, I hung out with the folks from Gamehounds quite a bit. But I also got to meet one of my favorite people in the fairy tale land of England, Chris O'Regan.
You've met him many times.
And at one of our dinners, it was sort of decided that we needed to spend more time online playing games with each other. So Chris, in his wonderful knowledge and sense that we would have a great time, scheduled a time in which we would play Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. And so yesterday on Saturday, we played the multiplayer for several hours and had a blast. It is amazing how much fun that game still is and how many people are still playing that game. That game, that multiplayer is hands down one of my favorites and made me rediscover like why I love the Xbox 360 so much. Yes, it's also available on the PS3 and stuff, but my friends are over on the Xbox 360 for that game, and I'm just having fun. That game looks fantastic. It plays so well. I love playing these multiplayer games in which you are working toward a common goal, and a terrific time. A terrific time.
Hey, you guys played for a long time.
Because we were having so much fun. It was, granted, like the first half hour, we were like, now, how do I run? How do I shoot the gun? How do I reload?
Oh, gosh.
The verse, like, what's the control scheme? Or how do I can buy things in a store and use them for, like, to make my gun more powerful and that sort of stuff. So it sort of slowly came back to us. But hey, the old adage is like riding a bike. We're soon had to bump up to silver and if we had played maybe for longer, we probably would have gotten to the gold stage as well. But it was a blast.
Show-offs.
And I'm going to do this more often. I may even do a few, Married Gamers game nights if people want to jump into Mass Effect 3. If you are interested, give us a shout out on our Facebook page and let us know what games you would love to do a game night on. Platform and, so PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, Xbox One, Steam. Let us know what you're interested in and we'll see if we can arrange something. MarriedGamers@Outlook.com is also a good source for that as well. So, that is on, and I'm reading a bunch of comic books as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a bunch. I'll get into that in later weeks here. That is my weeks in Geek.
Weeks in Geek.
All right. So our topic.
Yes.
And I always feel at ease when we talk about Nintendo because Nintendo, we don't own a Wii U yet. And I say yet, probably not until Bayonetta 2 comes out. But we're going to talk about Nintendo. They recently announced that they had a $456 million annual operating loss for the fiscal year, which is a lot of money. They also said how many Wii U units that they had sold, and it was surprisingly less than I had expected, even despite some really good games like Pikmin and Super Mario Super Mario Brothers U and the Luigi expansion and whatnot.
Right.
I'm just trying to find the information on how many global sales of the 3DS and software reached 12.24 million and 67.89 million units respectively. The Wii U sales, they noted in their fiscal announcement, Wii U sales continue to have, quote, a negative impact on Nintendo's profits, and attributed to its markdown overseas and insufficient growth of software unit sales. This is coming from the Polygon.com article.
Right.
The company has sold 6.17 million Wii U consoles since launch in November 2012, and only 2.72 million for the year.
It's a lot.
Just in North America, since the Xbox One launched, and then to February, I think they announced, they had sold 4.5 million just in the countries that they launched in. And that's just a matter of months. Now, granted, that's, the new hotness, but we're talking about a system that was cheaper.
Right.
Much cheaper than the Xbox One. More kid-friendly games than the Xbox One.
Right.
And just wasn't, it isn't selling.
Right.
So the question for this topic is what's it going to take? What's it going to take for Nintendo to turn around? They have a fantastic library of characters. I would compare Nintendo to a place like Marvel, in which they have these iconic characters that people know and people love. And so the question is, what's going to bring people back to Nintendo? Maybe not the Wii U. I mean, the 3DS is taking off.
It is. And the thing that's interesting is, you and I both have a 3DS, and sure, we go back and we pick it up and we play it, but we don't pick it up and play it on a consistent basis. And it's not something that we are on a constant watch to see, what's coming out new for our 3DS, like we are for the PS4 or for the Xbox One. Granted, we are not a family with children. So maybe if we were a family with children, that may be different, because we would be looking for games to buy a child. And we would want games that, you can hand your child in the back seat while you're going on a trip or something like that. So you'd want something to keep them busy or whatever, even at the house. So they're not playing the Xbox or the PS4. But it seems like you say, they have their Mario, their Luigi. If I were to say to any of the kids that I work with, kindergarten through 6th grade, the name Nintendo, they're going to tell me Super Mario Brothers. They're going to tell me, Pokemon. They know the titles. But if I ask them, what do they go home and play? They're going to tell me the Xbox or the PS4 or the PS3 or the PS2.
Xbox 360.
Those are the games those are the things they're playing with. Now, portable.
Yeah.
They're playing their Vitas, or they may play
hands down. No.
They may play their 3DS.
But they're also playing on their smartphones, and they're playing on tablets.
Yeah,
on
exactly. And so, on the tablet, mom and dad can buy at the most, $9.99, $10 game.
Well, you get I'm sorry to interrupt. You get a deeper gaming immersion on handhelds than you
used to
on smartphones and tablets.
Well, yeah. But a lot of times the majority of road trips nowadays, compared to when you and I were kids, during the summertime, now with gas prices being what it is, most people are doing staycations. You're staying at home. So they're not necessarily looking for the long road trips of keeping people.
So why aren't
busy.
they buying a Wii U?
I think because they already have the Xbox or the PS2 or the PS3.
So there's room for only one console in their household?
I think so. I mean, we're looking at, we're slowly coming out of our recession, but a lot of families are living in apartments or in 2-bedroom homes. And so you have the living room, which is now, before we used to have families, not always, but we have families that are living in, they had to scale down what they had. So, you don't always have families who have multiple televisions where the families, there may be a TV in the kids' room, but it's not as much.
They have great games.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't have they don't have a lot of the games that I like to play.
Right.
I like to play shooters. I'm not so much a platform guy myself. And I wonder part of it why Nintendo hasn't sold more Wii U's is because they're not getting, the next Madden. They're not getting, a violent shooter game. I think the closest to a violent game that I know of that's coming out on the Wii U is Bayonetta 2.
Right.
They did that haunted house game or that horror game, but I didn't see it selling a lot. So I'm just confused about are they getting slapped with the this is a toy and not an entertainment console, and maybe that's prohibiting sales when versus. If you pick up a PS4 or if you pick up a Xbox One, you're getting something that can play games, but can also do other things. Now, granted, the Wii U also has Netflix and all those other things as well, but maybe the message isn't getting across. It just worries me that we always hear these reports that some publisher is not going to supply a third-party game to the system. Or that it's going to be majorly delayed, like Batman, the last Batman, Arkham City, or no, whatever the last Arkham game was. That it took a while for it to get to the Wii U.
Right.
I want Nintendo to be successful. I want granted, at the end of the day, I want consumers to have a whole bevy of choices and wonderful experiences on each. Even though I'm not personally attracted to a Mario game and stuff like that, I know there are a lot of people, that can and will, so I'm just, obviously you've said in the past, Bayonetta 2 is what's going to make you want to buy in. And I'm just sort of undecided about what's going to make me really enjoy it. I was a little, when I remember, I was at the E3 when they announced it, and I got to play around with tech demos and stuff like that. And I thought it was an interesting thing, but more I learned about it, that the controller, wasn't like a full tablet. You had to still be in a radius of where the machine was and other things. I was a little disappointed. And, understandable, if they're going to keep down costs, that's what they had to do.
Right.
But I just wonder, in this world where, if you have the second screen experience, people want that to be a tablet, or a handheld of some sense. It makes me wonder if, yeah.
That just made me remember of a game I was playing. I forgot to say on my weekend Geek.
Oh, too bad.
Hearthstone.
Okay. We'll have to talk about it in later show, because that's bigger thing. So I'm out of sorts about why, is it marketing? What's not getting through to consumers that this is actually a pretty darn good console with some pretty cool games, but, and some games that aren't coming to it, but, maybe Nintendo needs to focus on building better relationships with third-party publishers, to make this not just a toy, but an entertainment console, giving a whole different types of games from kids games to more, M-rated games as well. It's just, I feel bad. Thankfully Nintendo, they still own the rights to all this wonderful crop of characters. They still have a fantastic handheld device in the 3DS and the 2DS. It's just, and they've said that they're not going to make software for other consoles. You're not going to see a true Super Mario Brothers game on your smartphone or on a tablet. Sure, there's clones and all that stupid crap.
Right.
But it's not Nintendo. And so they're still focused on their handheld and their console. So I'm just, I just don't know what it's going to take to make people excited. Is it going to take Nintendo saying, okay, let's close down the Wii U and start fresh again? Sort of like giving a truncated life like they did with the GameCube.
Right.
Say, okay, that was, we're going to either keep losing money on it, by doing yet another, cut cost a bit, or do we just, say stop and go back to the well and do something inventive as they did when they came out with the Wii U? What's your feelings on that, Kelly?
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they decide to do. I wish they would drop the price on the Wii U.
Yeah, but but this is the problem. They're already losing money after dropping the price.
I know, but if they dropped it again, I think people would buy it, and I think more people would make more money in actuality.
They dropped the price on the Ouya's. I mean, you find that on the bargain shelves
that's true.
Target. That doesn't make them fly off the shelves.
Yeah, you're right.
It just, what were they selling for? Can you look? I think it's like
the
$199. No.
Or Wii U?
The Wii U.
Yeah, look right now.
No, it's not $199. I think it's like $250 or something like that.
I'm looking at Amazon right now. Uh-huh. Do you want it as a bundle or by itself?
Just by itself.
On Amazon, they're $270.99.
$279. Okay, so between $279 and $300.
Yeah.
So maybe price is part of the problem. When you have a Wii U selling for pretty much the same price as a PS4, maybe that is a problem.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, E3 is going to be very interesting. So Nintendo's, they're doing some stuff on the floor. They're not doing a conference. They're doing one of their Nintendo Directs. But they're in this strange place where they know they need to do something. And, believe me, I may go down to LA to watch the Xbox, presser, but, I think of the three, I'm really interested in seeing what Nintendo does, because they are between a rock and the hard place right now, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Perhaps our geniuses listening out there, can give us some advice. Like, folks, what can Nintendo do to turn things around? Let us know at marriedgamers@outlook.com, and we'll, include your address, and, we'll do a whole segment in our mailbag about what your guys' thoughts are. What's it going to take to get more consumers picking up the Nintendo console. We're just gonna basically say, if you're gonna just write in and write, forget them, it's all about the PS4, or forget them, it's all about the Xbox One now. We're trying to look at ways in which Nintendo can get back in the Nintendo console race, so to speak. So
yeah.
marriedgamers@outlook.com. All right, so we have one more bit of Nintendo news as we try to wrap up the show. They got in a little bit of hot water with the GLBT community. So they're in a few weeks here. Tomodachi Life is coming out for the 3DS, and it does all sorts of zany things. It's sort of like a Animal Crossing meets Japanese TV show.
Right.
So it's weird and crazy. And it takes your verse characters and creates all these different situations, like you date and kiss characters, you even marry characters, and it's just really weird. However, you can only kiss, date, straight characters.
Correct. And Nintendo says that the reason why this happened is, well, we can't go back in and rewrite the code this close to launch. Sorry.
Well, they issued a statement that was really it furthered the flames of the GLBT community, basically saying that if they had included same-sex relationships in the game, that they just want to make fun games and not games that what was the exact wording, was like social meaning or something like that.
Social commentary.
And obviously anyone who is GLBT is like, well, my life, by virtue of loving who I love, is my life, and others view it as social commentary, but it's my life.
Right.
And so it's a bit weird that these GLBT gamers who want to play a game and want to play the game as their worldview, as they love people, they can't do it.
Right.
They're forbidden to do it.
And so on the 9th, they sent out an email to apologize, and it posted on their website as well. And it says, "We apologize for disappointing many people by failing to include same-sex relationships in Tomodachi Life. Unfortunately, it is not possible for us to change this game's design, and such a significant development change cannot be accomplished with a post-ship patch."
But they also promise to be more inclusive in their games in the future.
Correct.
Well,
and better represent all players.
There's proof in the pudding. And so Glad even wrote to them, saying, hey, this needs, this is my own words, this shit needs to change. And their response to the latest Nintendo apology was, well, EA has been very inclusive, and with straight and gay perspectives in their games. Maybe it's time for Nintendo to catch up. And honestly, that sort of, for me, gets to the heart of the matter. We live in a time where gaming is for everyone. And in this regard, it's for straight people, it's for gay people, it's for lesbians, bisexuals, it's, you play your play style, especially in games like this, where it's all about like some sort of, like sim, open playground type thing. You want to construct your own world and play the way that you play, and like these video game constructions that you like in real life. And to not have those options given to you in this day and age doesn't fly. And honestly, whether or not you agree with, if you think that if you're anti equal rights, why deny other people? You can have your opinions, but why deny other people their rights? I don't get that in this day and age. I understand, people have their religious reasons, but honestly, don't buy the game then. Let people be who they want to be, and respect other, give other people space, for God's sake. And the game, honestly, in this day and age, your game's going to sell more if you are inclusive. And that's what do you think, Kelly? I think,
it's something that they definitely need to, I don't know, obviously they've taken a lot of shit for this. I think that they should just pull it, Not launch it.
No, I think they should release it and see where things may lie. You know, even the people who petitioned Nintendo to include same-sex relationships said, "Hey, don't let this keep you away from what we hope is a good game, but we need to keep Nintendo. We need to keep the pressure on Nintendo. We need to keep the pressure on other companies as well." Heck, one of the weird side things out of this whole conversation was there was a publisher who basically wrote a letter to GLAD and say, "Hey, that's great that you guys are trying to push for more GLBT concerns in video games, but you guys, GLAD, you have your own awards, and you don't even have an award for video games. It's time for the GLAD Awards to also include video games. It is a form of media that a lot of people experience. Heck, some of these games actually make more money than movies out there. And it's time for them to be represented in GLAD Awards. I totally agree. You know, when you have a game like Always Sometimes Monsters, this Vagabond Dog, they were the Justin Armacani was the person who wrote the letter. And other games like Gone Home, which was one of my favorite games of last year. Papers, Please. You know, there's a lot of games that honestly GLAD is shooting itself in the foot for not including video games as part of this of their awards program. Right. So hopefully people will put the pressure on there as well. But honestly, in this day and age, I feel and I feel very strongly in this that publishers need a constant reminder that they're not just selling to straight people out there and straight families out there, but they're selling to gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgendered families out there as well. And they love games, and they love to be able to express their world in video game. And that includes heterosexual and homosexual relationships in video games. And before people go running and screaming down the street, "Oh, what about the kids? What about the kids?" You know what? The kids see it in their communities. Kids are being raised in GLBT families.
Oh, yeah.
In straight families that are accepting of this. It's out there. They go to school with kids that have two mommies or two daddies. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm beyond words. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think? Send your ideas and thoughts on the matter. marriedgamers@outlook.com. And include your address, because you may just win a game out of it. All right. So, I like getting a little fired up. Okay.
Just a little.
Kelly.
Yes.
It's that time. Take us out.
You can find us online multiple places on our website at www.marriedgamers.net. Be on the lookout. We've got a couple of new writers that are on fire for writing.
Yes.
So we just recently had one up about video games in the graveyards.
Junkyards.
Interesting. Junkyards, graveyards. That would be interesting.
Ooh, scary.
So take a look at that. Also, we can be found on Facebook at facebook.com/themarriedgamers. On Twitter, follow Lefty at Lefty Brown. Follow myself at Mrs. Lefty Brown. Excuse me. Also follow us at Married Gamers. Send us your mail, as Lefty keeps reminding you. Mailbag. Oh, sorry. That's old one. marriedgamers@outlook.com, so I can sing the mailbag song. Whoa, get the tongue going right there.
All right. So we do have a Lipson Married Gamers app for $1.99 available on most smartphones and tablets. And we're working on getting the Windows one looking exactly like we want it to look. I did go through somewhat of an update. But check us out on those devices. Your $1.99 helps us defray the cost of running our our VPS each year, which is several $100s. So every sale does help us. You can stream all the shows. You can download the shows. And in some shows, we even have bonus episodes included as well. So check us out. The Married Gamers Lipson app, available. I think it's under the publisher Wizard Media, and $1.99. This has been our return. Thank God. Episode 332. Thank you for joining us. We'll talk to you next week. Knock on wood.